All right, hello everybody. I'm Nimputs, and I'm gonna run Sonic R for now. So this is the GameCube version. This game came originally out on Sega Saturn, but this is part of Sonic Gems Collection, released in I think 2005 on GameCube. This is, I think, the nicest version of the game, and I'm gonna be doing 100%. This is a really quick run. Despite getting everything in the game, because it's a very tiny game. To start, we're going to pick Knuckles, because he's the best starting character, and I'm going to be starting on Reactor Factory, and run starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so as you see in the menu, Sonic R has 5 tracks. To beat the game, obviously, you have to win all of them. In order to get 100%, you have to get a lot of collectibles. So on each track, there are 1 or 2 Chaos Emeralds and 5 Sonic tokens. And a lot of these items are hidden behind ring gates. So they're gates that you have to collect a certain amount of rings for in order to unlock them and be able to go through them. So you not only have to root in collecting all these items, you also have to make sure you get a lot of rings to be able to reach them. And that is often pretty luck dependent. Right now I'm relying on luck to get 100 rings by the time I reach the ramp. Perfect, there we go. And now I can go through this gate right here, and that makes a Chaos Emerald shoot out of the cannon in front of me, and I can drop it, it drops down, and I can grab it like that. And the same thing goes with this one pretty much. And there's the 2 emeralds for this track, and now we go get the remaining Sonic tokens right here, and a bit of a detour for the final one. 20 rings for this gate, this dead end right here, last coin. And now I've got everything collected, but I have 2 laps to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not actually gonna play the laps. I'm gonna go in this corner and wiggle a little bit back and forth, and eventually it clips you out of bounds. And then you can go next to the finish line, pass the finish line from out of bounds, turn back around and pass it again, and that counts as a lap. So there you go. That was the first race, Reactor Factory. So because I won this race with all 5 Sonic tokens collected, the game sends me into a challenge race, which is a race again on the same track against an unlockable character, where I just have to beat the track as quickly as possible. And if I win, I unlock that character. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing again. That was very fast. And yeah, that's going to beat this track really quickly. Just around. And back around, and that's right here is a cutscene skip. If you pause while the screen is fading out and then exit out through the pause menu, you can skip the victory animation, but if you do it too fast, you can actually invalidate your run because you do it before you unlock the character. So you gotta be careful not to do that. But we got Metal Knuckles unlocked here, so we're all good. So I'm switching to Metal Knuckles now. Metal Knuckles is very useful for this category. The first reason is you see that to the right of me there's a lot of water in the stage, and Metal Knuckles as well as Metal Sonic, who we're gonna see in a bit, are very good at dealing with water, so they can just jump on water without losing any speed. You can just repeatedly jump, and you're not gonna lose any speed, which is amazing. So they're very good for this. Other categories, like the out of bounds categories, actually go in the game settings and switch the weather to snow, which allows you to just run over the water because it freezes to ice. But in this category, you can't do this because the ice actually changes the level collision, which makes these kind of clips that I'm doing right here pretty much impossible. So in this category, when we want to go out of bounds, we have to do with the water, and the best way to do that is with using Metal Knuckles. Metal Knuckles also conveniently one of the characters who are even able to do these corner clips. Not all characters can do that. The only ones are Knuckles, Metal Knuckles, Amy, and Egg Robo, and all others can't. So very convenient that he's so good for the movement in this category and can also do corner clips. So basically the perfect character. There we go again. That was a bit slower this time. So you see all these clips take different amounts of time. So basically the funny thing about this category is that you need to be really lucky to get a fast time in this, because you want all the clips to cooperate, and it's pretty much luck how fast you clip. So you really need to grind a lot if you want to run this category, or if you want to get a good time in this category, rather. So it's not for everyone, but I really like this category. I like showing it off for marathons because it shows both how broken the game is, and it also shows normal gameplay with collecting items and all that stuff. So I think it's a good balance. But yeah, this track, Radical City, is going to pretty much go the same way as the previous two tracks. So while we go through here, I'm going to explain a bit how the movement works. So there's basically the important thing about this game, like with many other kart racing games, is there's a drift mechanic. So on principle, it works pretty much exactly as expected. There's a left and right drift button. If you go through a right turn, you want to press the right drift, and if you go to left, you press the left drift. And if you get a nice sharp turn and get into a good slide, you can actually gain extra speed from drifting. So what you want to do is you want to maximize your drifting time. But there is also a technique called counter drifting, where you basically press the opposite drift button to the direction you're facing. So rather than going right and pressing right, you go right and press left, which you can use very well on drifting along straight walls or coming out of turns, and that gets you a lot of extra speed and also allows you to carry a lot of momentum on straights that you usually wouldn't be able to do. And that is very useful. And also, in order to maximize your drifting, we do a lot of like wall bumping and sliding along walls. So if you see me bump along walls, most of the time that's not because I'm bad, that's usually actually a strat. Alright, that was Radical City. We are now off versus Tailstall. Very spooky. That's the Tailstall you know from all the creepypastas. But don't worry about it. We are fast and Tailstall is very slow. Unless the game decides to not clip me for like 3 minutes, but that usually doesn't happen. There we go, that was pretty fast. So we're safe from Tailstall. And we go back around. That's one. That's two. And that's three. Cutscene skip and done with Radical City. So now we're actually going to do something slightly different. I'm going to do some menuing. I'm going to go in the game menu and change the weather settings from clear weather to snowy weather, which I explained earlier allows you to run over water because there's ice, but it doesn't allow you to do corner clips. So there's no corner clip in this track. There's another way we're going to use to get out of bounds, which we're going to see in the challenge race. And the other reason we switched is because the ice actually reduces your traction, which means you can get a lot more drifts very easily, more so than on clear weather because it's more slippery. So you can get more extra speed just from sliding. And even though it took a couple seconds for me to go into that menu, the extra time it saves from just faster movement with ice actually makes up for the extra time I spent on the menu. So even RTA, this would save time, but this game is timed in in-game time, and in-game time it saves even more time. So if there's a couple donations here, I have like a little bit of time now.
Unfortunately, there are no more donations yet. However, I'd like to talk a little bit about this event. This is Speed Stuff for Charity 8. Speed Stuff for Charity, as an event, is a speedrunning marathon dedicated to annually raising money for charities. We've raised over $6,000 in our 6 years doing marathons, and we plan to keep doing this for as long as there's interest. We've previously benefited St. Jude's, Doctors Without Borders, and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And this year, we're supporting LEAD, which is a substance use prevention organization that believes that young people are capable of making good decisions. The core reason LEAD exists is to significantly reduce drinking, drug use, and other risky behavior by youth, while working simultaneously to eliminate the root cause of these issues in the future. And if that sounds like a cause that you want to donate towards, you can go to the link in the chat right now and put your money towards stuff. We do have a few donation incentives and some bid wars, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, thank you very much. So what I did right here, I did like a pretty precise, tight, small hop through the bank turn. That's what clips me out of bounds on this track. It's a pretty tight jump and pretty scary if you're on PB pace. It's easy to miss. But yeah, that was the challenge race on Regal Ruin. Glad that worked first try. I usually screw that one up a lot. And the out-of-bounds circling, by the way, on this track is the reason we switched to Metal Sonic for this race, because Metal Sonic has a tighter turning radius than Metal Knuckles, so he saves a couple seconds on this track. Anyways, we now did every regular race and collect all the Chaos Emeralds, which means we unlock Super Sonic. So we're going to use him for this final race. You saw on the character menu there was still one character that's not unlocked. That was Eggman, but we're going to get him once we beat this race. So this race is the final race. There's nothing to collect anymore except for a lot of rings to unlock shortcut path. And there's also no reliable way to skip anything, but I'm going to attempt to do a very unreliable skip here. So you saw me at the beginning of the race. There was this wall on the left that I was sliding into. If you have a lot of speed and slide along a wall, basically any time the game can just decide to clip you through. And if that happens there on that track, you can skip half of one lap. You unfortunately can't stay out of bounds and keep looping the laps like on the other tracks, but you can save like 13 seconds if you get the easy strat, and an additional 4 to 5 seconds if you get the faster variant with the jump. So this is something that's required for you to get the world record in this category. So that's a pretty big time save at the end of the run. But yeah, I'm not expecting to get it. It's a very rare thing and you really need to grind for it. Unless you're playing no out of bounds and it just happens on accident and ruins your run, so that's fun. But yeah, in this category you actually won it. But yeah, nope, we didn't get any here, so that's about as expected. So gotta make sure I get my 50 rings here. So these are zippers. They basically send you a set distance depending on your ring count. You want to have 50 rings or more to get the max distance. And yeah, that's basically it. We're coming up here on time. This is the final lap. So just around this final U-turn, and then I cross the finish line, and that's time. And time. And I did my own timing on my end, and that looks like 12 minutes flat, which is honestly incredible. That's my best marathon run of this, I think. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That was Sonic R 100%. As I've said, I really like showing this run off to marathons. I think it's a lot of fun. It's nice and short. Really cool speed game to get into if you're interested. No out of bounds is probably a bit more approachable and more fun for the average person, but either way, go give this game a shot. It's good fun. And that's it from me for now. I will be back soon.